Hey everybody, it's Chris Plant, editor-at-large at Polygon.com. I'm here with the studio head of Treyarch, Mark Lamia. How are you doing?
Great, great.
We've been talking for a little while. We're going to talk about one more thing, Strike Force,
Yep.
which is a new kind of series or group of missions that will be playable in the campaign, but they're non-linear.
That's right.
For the first time, they're the non-linear kind of sandbox exploratory capture point missions that kind of remind me a lot more of the multiplayer section in a lot of ways, which I guess is the first question. Is it running on the single-player engine, or is it running on multiplayer?
Yeah, no, it is actually inside the single-player engine, inside the campaign of the single-player, and they're unique. I mean, they're unique not only in that it introduces non-linearity inside the campaign structure. So when you get to a place in the campaign as the new Cold War fiction is playing out, there are going to be these hotspots. And JSOC's going to come to you as a leader of a Black Ops team and say, give you the intelligence, and then you'll have a choice about which one of these hotspots you want to drop into. And then you'll play that, and then after you play it, the narrative will continue. You'll have made a choice in that campaign structure. You won't be coming back to these levels unless, of course, you want to. It's your game. You can do what you want. But as far as that campaign is concerned, you move on. I mean, we'll tell you what happened in these other things, and then there'll be another point in the story where you'll get introduced to these Strike Force levels. But that would only be really, as you know, that's only sort of scratching the surface of what these levels are at. That's at the highest level. At a more fundamental gameplay level, they are sandbox levels. I mean, you can go in there, and you drop in with your Black Ops team. You can take over any of the team members that are on your team, and they have different weaponry. You can take over any of the tools on the battlefield, any of the toys of the battlefield. So any of the drone technology. If you want to fly that quad, you can do it. If you want to drive that
What is that horse monster thing?
You're talking about
horse monster, not the official
horse
title?
monster is actually not the official title.
That's the working
it's
title.
the claw.
The claw.
It is a cognitive land assault weapon. That's the
scary.
acronym there. It is a heavy piece of machinery. It's a heavy robotics drone that has heavy caliber weaponry on it. So it's got a lot of armor, and there's strategy to taking it out and to actually playing it.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the other thing. It's like when you're talking about introducing drones and advanced robotics into the gameplay, what that also means if you're a game designer is all kinds of new gameplay to both fight against, so there's new AI and new strategies to take it out, but also if you want to, in the case of the Strike Force missions, if you want to take over and play inside, and control those drones, that's entirely new gameplay mechanics for you. And the interesting thing about Strike Force missions is you can play it, as any of those drones whenever they're available at any time that you want, or you can play in something we call Overwatch mode, which is a totally strategic mode. You can move between all these modes, or you can just simply play like you've always played Call of Duty, with the weapon in your hand as a soldier
shooting things in the face.
like that you are, and take over, and take on your objectives. Sort of the design philosophy behind that is ensure accessibility in a way that a Call of Duty game, who a lot of people have played and enjoyed, want to be able to still be able to play and enjoy, but also depth of gameplay and replayability for players who've been playing Call of Duty for a long time and want to have some new experiences in there. These are great levels because you're going to be able to go back and play them. You can play them at different difficulty levels even after you've played them. If you're playing the campaign and you're moving through, you can go back later if you want to play the other levels and try them out because you didn't get a chance to experience those either.
Save a few more hotspots.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this is obviously a big idea for the series. I imagine it was at one point a small idea that just one person had. Can you pinpoint where it originated or who came up with it?
It's a team environment. There are usually groups of people who talk about things, and this is the idea of creating a more sandbox gameplay experience is not a new idea, and this particular expression of it has actually gone through a lot of iteration. But we do have, some of our really experienced leads working on this. One of our leads who's been with us for a long time in the franchise, made a lot of Call of Duty games, is helping to lead this effort, Dave King. And Dave Anthony, our director, is very involved in it, and from the very beginning wanted to try to introduce this sort of non-standard, non-traditional gameplay into the campaign, and they've been working on it. And this is what you're seeing today is a result of a lot of hard work over the prototyping phase and iteration phase, and this is the result of that. So this doesn't even look like where we started, but that's not uncommon in development. I mean, you have an idea, and then you go to prototype and implement it. Sometimes you need to iterate and iterate and iterate on it.
Now, it seems like with this franchise, sometimes if the fans ask for something enough, they usually get it. Like, we had co-op, we had zombies. There have been a number of critics who have called the game too linear. Is this kind of welcoming them with open arms and saying, here is something finally for people who have that criticism, who want something a bit more like the old school PC shooter?
So I think it absolutely answers critics that way, but that's not necessarily the motivation behind it. The desire to create the nonlinear game mode, the sandbox, the branching storylines, those are something that we wanted to do, but it does align well, you know, like we've been making a lot of these games. We have a lot of veterans who've made these games, and so stepping up to a new challenge for us dovetails nicely also with a lot of what people want out there. And that's not to say we don't listen to that, because we absolutely do. We do listen to those things, and I'm sure they have some influence over people, but that isn't the primary motivation why you know, and this is a very specific creative expression that we're coming up with. No one asked for specifically what we're giving them. This is a totally original idea.
In any chance we'll see people go head to head in Strike Force?
You never know. You never know where these things go, but it is for Black Ops 2 is absolutely being developed for the campaign. But you never know where these things go.
That's good. You heard it here first. You never know where these things go. You never know where these things go. Maybe we'll see it. I think it would be interesting. Thanks for watching. Find more of us at theverge.com/gaming or polygon.com. Thanks for talking, Mark.
That's great. Great. Thank you for coming out.